Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no. Stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Good morning and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
This is the week.
Important.
This is the week. Download the app back to all of your devices if you've deleted it or if you haven't, need to re-enable it. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Maryland's a 4 seed. We'll talk about that, obviously, this morning. Mount St. Mary's into the NCAA tournament. They play in the first 4 on Wednesday night against our friend Dwayne Simpkins, an American. I don't know what they're doing to me. Making it very difficult.
What do you mean? The committee got it right. What do you?
I just want to support my buddy Dwayne Simpkins, and they keep having him play against teams that I'm supposed to be rooting for. Navy, now Mount St. Mary's. I don't care for that. I want to root for my guy, but it's such is life. This is the way that it goes, and we'll root for the Mount on Wednesday night. Maryland women also get a 4 seed. I think a few people were a little surprised by that, as they will still be able to host this weekend against Norfolk State in the first round. Those are the big stories after Maryland did indeed lose in the Big Ten semifinals this weekend. A lot to do on the program today. A little bit later on this hour, Rayfield Davis is going to join us. We will talk to him about Maryland going into the tournament and the matchups, obviously against Grand Canyon, and then, of course, might be Memphis in the round after that. Thoughts on who got in, who did not get in. The North Carolina thing I know has bothered a great number of people. I can't pretend to care about that.
Why can't you pretend to care about that?
Because
the head of the committee is
the
North Carolina AD.
This is the bottom of the. No one deserves to get in. None of them. No one was robbed. Do I think North Carolina was more deserving? No. But no one was robbed. It's the bottom of the NCAA tournament. These teams aren't good.
Should have been Irvine.
Okay. If you say so.
Should have been.
My mother's alma mater, actually.
She's an anteater?
You're UC Irvine. My father American, my mother UC Irvine. So.
Wow.
How about that? We've discussed them both now this morning. I think it's the first time in the history of this program that we've done that. Coming up, I mentioned Rayfield Davis. Also, Jeremy Kahn will join us a little bit earlier than he usually does. The First Lady of the state of Maryland, Dawn Moore, and our friend Terry Hasseltine will be making a joint appearance on the program today to tell us more about the upcoming Preakness Festival, the first of its kind as we get ready to celebrate a historic big round number Preakness this year before the changes that are coming to Pimlico. And then, Donnie Lind is going to join us. Mount St. Mary's basketball coach will join us as well, I think, near the end of the program. So that's what's coming up here on a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I just turned my hat backwards. I don't think that's a good
Yeah, you look pretty cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ken Griffin?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Don't even know who I'm looking at.
Problem is it's one of these numbers. If it was like a cool fitted hat, then I think it would look good backwards.
No, I think it looks good with
I'm sticking with it.
I like backwards hats when they have the
If you missed any of Stan and
adjustable.
Luke's coverage from Sarasota, Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, PressBoxOnline.com. It was all brought to you by Live Casino and what was that? Live Casino and Hotel? Now I'm wondering what would it be like. I bet it's still cool down there. I bet that's how great Live Casino is, that even if they had one there, it would probably be like, this place isn't so bad. Change my mind. It's all right that I was a terrible person. Live Casino and Hotel, as well as Easy Pass, Costas Inn, and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. Boys are back safely. I know it was an adventurous trip for those guys.
Treacherous? I thought you were going
Good,
to say
yeah.
treacherous.
Yeah, treacherous for sure. Good to have them back in one piece, mostly. Now, the only additional Ravens news this weekend, well, I actually two, because Ben Cleveland re-signed, which I did not see coming. That caught me completely off guard. Now, to the point, as we talked about last week, the Ravens needed O-line depth. So this is kind of the perfect example of what I was talking about as to why it can't be a zero tolerance policy. It's why the zero tolerance policy concept was nonsensical, frankly. I know the Ravens were the ones that claimed it, and they deserve the criticism for that, but it never made sense because not everything is created equal. And as I've said before, someone who has acknowledged is I have a DUI in my past, and I am not proud of it, and I had to learn from it, and it has never happened again, nor will it ever happen again, and it has a lot to do with the fact why I simply don't drink any longer. I have an amount of grace, not because it's okay, as I've said a million times before, and I wrote about it recently. When I got a DUI, I'm grateful that they arrested me because I could have killed myself or someone else. It's not okay. And I've often thought that we don't talk about DUIs appropriately. And I'm not saying that it's an excuse for why someone like me got one. It's that we don't talk about that every DUI should also be an attempted murder. I mean, that's what you're doing. But we don't talk about it like that because that's bad for the alcohol industry. And they've got good lobbyists. I have more grace. It's not okay. It wasn't okay that I had a DUI. It's okay that anybody drinks and drives, whether you've gotten a DUI or not, or you've just gotten away with it. It's not okay. But that alone, to me, isn't a disqualifying reason, one DUI. Now, someone with a series of DUIs and a significant problem, to me, one is the number. This is a 2 strikes you're out policy for me. But one alone, to me, does not disqualify you from playing for my football team. A second would. I get it. Ben Cleveland has been... And really, the reason why I thought he was gone was the combination. He's never broken through as a football player, and he got a DUI. That combination to me was easy to make me think, nah, you're not going back down that road. And perhaps the Ravens were inclined to take a look at what was out there, and maybe they only went back to Ben Cleveland after they looked at that group of veteran offensive linemen and said, yeah, we really don't like any of this either. They needed depth. They needed, and truth be told, I still don't even know that Ben Cleveland can play multiple positions because I don't know that he can play one. No matter how much he's looked like Brock Lesnar, there's just never been anything that has suggested that Ben Cleveland can play an NFL level of offensive line at any position. But you need depth, you need options, and apparently somebody there feels like Ben Cleveland is that, and so he's back. The Ravens also add in Cooper Rush as their backup quarterback, which leads to every humorous thought of every time we've ever said that you've wanted to have your backup quarterback in Baltimore be someone that could run a Lamar-like system of offense.
He's a pretty mobile guy. He can move. He can move his feet.
Sure. As I said, we always say that like it matters. It doesn't. Tyler Huntley stunk. I mean, he was not good at football. And I don't like piling on Tyler Huntley because he just seems like such a nice guy. But
he almost beat the Packers that one time.
Yeah.
Almost beat the Bengals in the playoffs.
Thank you. He's not good. He couldn't make NFL throws. And the fact that he was fleet of foot, the fact that he wasn't at all Lamar Jackson, but had some escapability didn't help. It didn't make up any of the difference for the fact that he wasn't capable of being an NFL quarterback. It was a really interesting thought, in particular when you were running more of like a Greg Roman offense, but it never made a difference. The only thing that you need in a backup quarterback is someone who, in a scenario where they might have to play 2 or 3 games, you could survive with them. You're not getting the 1 in a million scenario of a Nick Foles winning you a Super Bowl is 1 in a million. You can't make any plan whatsoever around that being realistic. The overwhelming scenario is if Lamar Jackson is lost for the season, your season is over. So what do you need in a backup quarterback? You need someone who, very specifically, if it's 2 to 3 games, they give you a chance to be competent for those 2 to 3 games. You wouldn't immediately lose them just because your backup quarterback had to play. And does Cooper Rush give you that? I don't know. He looked competent in stretches for Dallas last year.
He could beat the Giants.
Great.
He could beat Carolina last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carolina ended up being half a real team.
They did beat Tampa.
Can Cooper Rush do that for you? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. That's the best I can give you is maybe.
Oh yeah, they beat the Commanders that one time.
Oh right.
When
the
Turpin?
goofy,
When Turpin did that spin and that crazy
that
that wild
nuts.
ending.
That
Yeah.
game was nuts. That game was drunk. So, did they check that box? I couldn't possibly tell you, but much like getting worked up about the bottom of the bracket, I can't get worked up about backup quarterback. It's a very the bar is very specific for what you need to clear, and there's no possible way for me to know. I just, until you're in that position, until that guy has to play in that scenario, I can't tell you whether he's capable of doing it or not. I'm definitely over the concept of needs to have Lamar Jackson's skill set. One, because no one does. That person doesn't exist. Arguably, Jaden Daniels is the closest thing that we've seen to it, and he does not have Lamar Jackson's skill set. He's got a hell of a skill set. I take it, but he ain't Lamar Jackson. You're not getting that. So all you were really saying was, we want a mobile quarterback. Well, and the problem is, all of the mobile quarterbacks that can actually make NFL throws are employed. They all have jobs. Because at some point, the majority of the thinkers in the NFL were like, wow, maybe having 2 skill sets is better than just having 1. And finally realized that those should be the starting quarterbacks. So now you're down to guys that can just run. That can't make the throws. And they tried that experiment, and it didn't work. So, sure, Cooper Rush. All good, I guess. All good. Those are the big Ravens stories from the weekend, and I can't possibly think to say anything more about
He
that.
had a 9-yard run against the Panthers last year.
Did okay.
Yeah.
So now we know that.
That was his longest carry of 2024.
Plus, his name is Cooper Rush. and
Yeah.
That's always
Maybe,
seemed cool
do you
to
think they
me.
were confused and they thought, like, oh, Rush?
Because his name is Rush, they thought, oh, he must be a Russian quarterback.
Yeah.
It's, you know what? I can't believe I didn't see more of that joke on the internet this weekend. I can't believe that wasn't all over my feed on Sunday. Or maybe it was, and I just didn't pay attention because I had other things on the brain. I don't know. All right, so here's the important stuff. We're doing a bracket contest, and I'm going to be beating you over the head with it. Because so far we only have like 10 people. And I get it, there wasn't a bracket until last night, and I was distracted by lacrosse over the weekend. Like, I'll put some of this on me, but most of it on you. No excuses. Play like a champion today. $20. And I'm coming after you name by name. Every single one of you will be getting a message from me. Or tagged on some social. I mean, I get it. A lot of you will choose to ignore it. Like, oh, man, I didn't even see that. I barely check Facebook anymore. I'm coming for you.
Jeez.
I'm sick of it.
It's like a
I'm
threat.
sick of it. We do it every year. It's the Pancake Social. Let's go. $20. Half of it goes to the winner. Half of it goes to Show Your Soft Side and the incredible work they do for animals in our community. You're going to get in. This is what I know. You're going to tell me about, I don't even pay attention to college basketball. Shut up. Shut up. You're going to be watching. You're going to fill out a bracket. Just fill out ours and help a great charity in the process. And it infuriates me that I have to do this with you. Infuriates me. Like, we have a different thing here where we're all friends, we're all part of it, where it's not, you're not just some nameless, faceless person. Get in. Glenn Clark on Venmo. Glenn Clark 180 on PayPal. Thank you to Kelly who got in this morning.
Thanks, Kelly.
I believe Kelly was in the final last year. I believe it was her and Jen.
Or did she win the bowl thing?
I think-
She's won stuff.
Maybe I don't remember. But
Yeah.
but Kelly got back in this morning. Thank you. Glenn Clark on Venmo, Glenn Clark 180 on PayPal, Glenn Clark Radio on Cash App.
All right. PFF Sean just paid me, so
All right, so he's in.
yeah.
All right. Oh, we're supposed to pay. I'll deal with that.
Okay, so just hold it, or
Yeah, hold
Okay.
it. Exactly right. Hold it. Got to know when to hold
I guess
it. know when to
I'll
fold
be
it.
in.
Yeah. But you better be. Christ. So annoying. So annoying. Anyway, get in right now. And I'm going to be doing this like every break that we do. And this is the way it's going to go. You want content on this show? Fill the bracket contest. I don't know what the content will be. It probably won't be good. But until then, you're getting more of this. All I'm looking for is 50 people. That's it. This isn't even crazy. I mean, frankly, the fact that I'm struggling should suggest that we should shut down this show. Let's be honest. Like, that I should probably quit. Go get a real job.
Like what?
I don't know. Go work in the factory like my daddy always wanted me to. At Glenn Clark Radio on Cash App. Glenn Clark on Venmo. Glenn Clark 180 on PayPal. Get your $20 in. I will send you the link. You get signed up. It's not difficult. I just realized I don't even know if Brian Powell paid me. He set the league up.
Interesting.
I don't know if he paid me or not. I don't know what the story is there. Now that I think about it, that's weird. What are we doing?
Well, he's good for it, right? I mean, that's, usually or no?
Is he good? Yeah. He's
Okay.
good.
All right. Good.
Yeah, he's
Good. Okay.
He's good for it. Look, man. Just get in, for God's sakes. Get in. All right. That's the deal. Now, as far as Maryland is concerned, I am with everybody who's confused about them being sent out to Seattle. It seems unfair, but only in the context of Purdue being the team that's in front of them. It just, you're kind of perplexed by that Purdue is one's, like, on the overall seed line. Purdue is the team that got the spot right in front of them, and because of that, Purdue gets to go to Providence while Maryland has to go to Seattle. That seems odd. But, in fairness, we talked about this a few times during the year when we were just obsessed with net rankings and just kept saying, but net rankings, but net rankings, but net rankings. We were leaving out some other factors. All that being said, some of those other factors included like wins above bracket, where we said, hey, but Maryland, because they played that sort of nondescript, non-conference schedule, that hurt them. The problem is they were 19th among teams in wins above the bracket. Purdue was 20th. So
Really? How? Really?
yeah.
'Cause Purdue
Now-
did play like a.
Now, Purdue 7-10 in quad 1 games. Maryland 8-7. So it's like finding this world in which this makes sense is very, very difficult.
Is it just the head? They came down the head-to-head and
We've never heard that being something that would separate
Right.
two teams, but maybe it was on their home floor, so that doesn't seem like that's a logical explanation. It's very specific, so I understand why it wasn't. Everybody was grilling Bubba Cunningham about his own team, and so nobody really cares about the fact that somehow Purdue was a spot ahead of Maryland in the overall seedings, which really doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But it is what it is. A lot of people would point out, well, yeah, this is what they get. This is why it hurts you to lose to Michigan in the semifinals. Maybe. I don't know.
They were making it seem like pretty evident that it didn't matter who won the
Maybe.
the major.
I mean,
power
this is the thing
conferences.
too. It's easy, and Patrick has made this point a lot, that he has said that the suggestion is the Sunday games don't really tend to make much of a difference.
Outside, Ivy League, because
And, somebody's got to get in, and perhaps that's true. I don't know, like if Michigan would have been the truth, as we pointed out, like some of the numbers, the advanced numbers on Michigan were not great, so maybe they wouldn't have benefited had they not won the Big Ten. I don't know. I understand the argument is, boy, that doesn't seem like much of a reward for Michigan to win the Big Ten and only be a 5 seed. Well, they weren't very good, but tip of the cap, they won. They did do that. That happened. I'm not terrified of a trip to the Pacific Northwest because, like,
everybody else has to go there still.
yeah, I mean, you somebody point out Grand Canyon obviously is a lot closer to Seattle than
And they pay for their fans to go. so,
Maryland
yeah,
is. Man, they got a whole weird bit going on with Grand Canyon. It's a very strange place, trying to become like the. Are they Christian or are they what
I
denomination?
believe
are
that's
they?
I believe
Trying to become
Christian
like Christian
is-
Notre Dame or something. It's
Yeah.
very strange.
well,
Whatever their bid is.
they don't like when we talk about it. I heard. So
Oh,
yeah.
what do you mean?
Well, the people there apparently get upset when people like start questioning, what's going on at Grand Canyon.
What's going on? With
Yeah.
the Brian Windhorst thing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Grand Canyon didn't exist when I lived in Arizona. It didn't exist. And that's not quite 20 years ago. I mean, like, it existed, I guess, but there was no program there. And all of a sudden, it's become this thing. It's a conversation for another day. They're definitely closer to Seattle, there's no question. And if there was a world where Maryland could have gotten to the 3 line by winning the Big Ten, the opposition, the 14 seeds, the opinion of those in the know is that there's a serious difference between the 13 seeds and the 14 seeds. 13 seeds are all kind of real teams that won their leagues. The 14 teams where you start to get to the teams that like just won their leagues. I can't pretend to have a strong opinion about it. Maryland didn't do well their last trip to the Pacific Northwest. You would like to hope that having done it already once does help them this time around. Like, hey, what? And I know that was among the things that was addressed last night by Kevin Willard in his press conference. Hey, what did you do on that trip that you might do differently? And we'll see. That's all I can say is we'll see. What might they do differently? I don't know. I'm writing a column today at PressBoxOnline.com. And the column is about how much I've enjoyed this season. How like my heartbreak on Saturday was a little bit about how the game ended, but a lot to do with the fact that I just wanted to sit down and watch another Maryland basketball game on Sunday. That's how much I've enjoyed this team. Like, it really hurt me that there wouldn't be one more game to watch on Sunday. The boys and I had nothing else to do. We were going to sit down and just spend our day hanging out watching the Maryland game. This has been such a fun season. But there's a flip side to it there's a subtext, and particularly in relation to the news of the weekend. And these rumors that popped up that Villanova would be interested in Kevin Willard, and the apparent response, although he was mum about it last night, that Maryland is prepared to up the ante to make sure he doesn't go anywhere. And the report from John Rothstein to CBS was that Maryland would be prepared to make him one of the top 10 highest paid coaches in all of college basketball. And given the apparent interest in Kevin Willard from Villanova, and given the success his team has had, given what he was able to do in the portal last year and putting together a roster, and frankly, the mettle that he's shown late in games and timeouts, and the way that this team has looked offensively coming out of timeouts, that feels really good. Like a Villanova wanting your coach and you stepping up and saying, no, we got our guy and we're committed and we're going to be making the revenue sharing commitment, and we're telling you basketball matters again at Maryland, and it's going to matter moving forward. That all feels good. With the one little caveat of, but you still need to accomplish something. There still needs to be something, as one particular longtime listener and fan of mine likes it when I say, the there.